And good evening, everybody. This is Michael Filighera. I'm with logicalsignals.com and also tradershelpingtraders.com. And this is the Elliott Wave update for the NASDAQ 100 for Thursday, August 12th, 2021. The market did receive the PPI figures with some hesitation, I would say. And we did get an initial decline, and it did kind of follow through initially on the open, but then the buyers moved in, as I suspected that they would, and pushed the market right off at the lows at 14,941 was the low this morning. That did push lower than what I have labeled as wave A of this second ABC decline. And then the high that we got in Globex, I labeled as wave B, and then I put a C wave at today's low shortly after the open. And then I'm labeling that as subminute wave 2. So what that does suggest from here is that we are now entering into a subminute wave 3 as part of the minute wave 5 advance. And what may change again is a little bit of the labeling, because this label as it is standing does continue to suggest that we are going to form a diagonal triangle up. And now is the time for that really to kick in and form as we enter into this third wave. Now, why I'm labeling that subminute wave 2 is complete is, number one, the rally off of it. It was very strong and it had intent, and it rallied over 100 points initially off of that low, pulled back, and then picked up the rally again. And if it wasn't for the bell, I believe that we would have just popped back above 15,100. In fact, we may do that once Globex begins in 15 minutes. Or I would suspect that we're likely going to get it at some point during the Globex session. And then we might continue to pull back, but I am not really looking for anything larger. The flip side of it being in the third wave would be that it is just, this was A of the second ABC down, and this is all going to be a part of B. It's just not structurally looking that way right now, which is why I'm more comfortable labeling it here. But as an alternate view, if we come in tomorrow and the market's all down, well, then that's pretty much the way it would get labeled. Then an A, a B, and now we're doing a C wave down, which brings us back down to dropping back down towards 14,850, possibly even lower. But right now, that is not in my purview. Should it happen, that's where I think it could go. But right now, I'm going to continue to look for the rally to build and start reaching some of our higher resistance zones. Wave 3 should ultimately push us to a new high above 15,172. Before it's complete. We have some initial stronger resistance at this resistance level at 15,197. But I actually am hoping that it can get to 15,220 or a little bit above, like up here to 15,304. That would be a very perfect situation, because then wave 3 would be equal in length to wave 1, which gets us in a stronger position that if the fifth wave, if that subminute wave 5 really starts to blast higher, which I would expect it to do, then it can extend, which gives it additional power. But if wave 3 comes in shorter than wave 1, then I'm going to have some problems with the count. So that's why I'm looking for it at least to get up here at 15,304 to keep the count current, to keep the count intact as we move our way higher. Ultimately, I still do expect that we're going to start breaking into these zones, if not this zone. So we've got a lot of work, or the market has a lot of work in front of it. And if it happens, I think we'll get plenty of trading opportunities. Now, downside, as considering that this would be a wave 3, pullback should be on the shallow side. They still should be ABCs down, but they should be shallow in that the momentum is going to be driving the market higher. Pullbacks should not be sudden, dropping more than 20, 30, or 40 bucks in the NASDAQ. That I would not be looking for if indeed this is a third wave up. Again, remember, third waves, we start to see acceleration in the direction of the trend. In this case, it's up. I'm going to be looking for more acceleration to the upside. I'm going to look for this to build on itself very quickly. I'm going to look for it to really get above that previous high, create new highs without much hassle, without much hesitation. Failure to do that keeps open too many negative windows. And so I'd like to keep this count as clean as I can, because like I said, the alternate is that we get up maybe this high and it turns and comes back down again, which is just delaying the inevitable, but we always have to trade what's in front of us and trade what the market is telling us. And that would be what the market is telling us. If it starts to turn and starts to break down here, then we're likely going to go back down and break below that low at 14,941. Excuse me, been a long day. So that's where I'm going to actually leave it for right now. We have downside, we have protection. We can draw additional Fibonacci's should that be the case and we start heading lower. In fact, I will do that. I'll just take this one off and I will draw for downside, and that would be there to there to there. And so we get initially, we get down to here and to these levels. You got 48.65, 48.55, 14,798, or 800. So that would be one. There's a different set that I can do as well, and I'll put that on, and that would be that we are going to go from here to here, up to here. And pretty much the same areas. Minimal, we'd be looking for here, down to 14,880. If it turns, and it is indeed that this is going to be a B wave, and we're now still looking for that second C wave, instead of this being the C wave, we get it tomorrow, it'll drive us much lower. It'll drive us into these levels. So those are our expectations. We've got it covered. Upside, we know we've got those levels in. And we're looking for, we have 15,160, and then we've got 72, and then we've got 15,194 to 15,200, 220. That would be optimal. And then, as I said before, a little bit higher than that, and 15,230, I believe it was, is where 3 would be equal to 1. And that's where I'm going to leave it. The next update will be on Sunday.